morning. It's Saturday the 23rd of July 2022 and today's walk is a linear walk for a change. I've parked my car in Hope Station, so this is where I parked when I did my last walk, and I've just passed below Win Hill where I did last time, but I'm just skirting the side of Hope Brink and I'm making my way towards Knoll. Now, it's quite sunny at the moment. It's supposed to be quite cloudy for most of the day. That's forecast, with some showers predicted later on possibly. But the views today are fantastic. And over that side, you can see the Great Ridge. So you can see Loose Hill there, nearest to us, and then further back, you can see Mamtor at the other end. I've done that walk before, and I think I'm going to end up doing it again quite soon. So watch this space. So yeah, so for now, I'm just heading towards Knoll. Climbing the slopes of Hope Brink, I could see a train passing along the Hope Valley railway line far below. Before long, I reached the top as I found myself on the ridge. I'm back on part of the ridge where I was last time on the last walk. Just further over that hill there, eventually take you to Win Hill, which of course I did on my last walk, but I'm going in the opposite direction today. Knoll's just in front of me there amongst the trees, and I can see Derwent Edge over there on the skyline. Lovely. Anyway, so I'm going in that direction, and that'll take me towards Hope Cross. I bore left to head in a northwesterly direction, keeping the trees to my right. I was asked fairly recently if the walks that I film come out of books, and yes, that is actually true. A lot of the walks that I filmed come out of the OS Pathfinder series. There's a couple that they've done on the Peak District where they've got circular walks. And yeah, so many of those that I've filmed come out of those books, and I'll be doing more from those books too. The last walk I did up to Win Hill came out of the OS Pathfinder book, but today's walk is actually one I've plotted myself, so I do some myself. As I say, this is a linear walk, starting from Hope Station, and when I get to the end of the walk, I'll just be hopping on the train back, so that'll be great. One thing that I am appreciating about today's walk is that it's cool. I mean, it's still warm, but compared to what we've had recently, it's lovely and cool. There's a nice breeze as well. But earlier in the week, we had some record-breaking temperatures. And I've had this week off again, and for most of the first half of last week, I was down at Mum's because it was a birthday, so I usually go down for a birthday. And whilst I was there, Monday and Tuesday was a birthday, it reached record temperatures. I think it broke 41 degrees in some parts of the UK. Wasn't quite as hot as that where I was, but it was still warm enough. Very, very uncomfortable. So, yeah, today it's been really nice to actually come out, have a bit of breeze. It's lovely. Us Brits are never satisfied, are we? You know, we always complain about the weather. You know, it's either too cold in the winter, too wet, you know, or in the summer when the sun's out, It's too hot. We are never satisfied. After about a mile, I came to the distinctive landmark of Hope Cross. This medieval marker stands at the crossroads of important ancient packhorse routes through the Peak District, and is marked on its four sides with Edale, Glossop, Hope and Sheffield. The date 1737, carved below the word Hope, is believed to be the date of a restoration. What a great old marker post. Hope Cross. Isn't it fantastic? Yeah. Brilliant. I think I've only ever walked past this sort of once before. Sure I have. Yeah, for those people that are pretty familiar with the Peak District will know that this is quite a famous marker post in the area. Yeah, fantastic. Nice to see it. I've seen lots of photos of it. But yeah, I'm sure I've only actually walked past this once myself before. At the crossroads now. Down there goes to Lady Bower Reservoir. I'll be going up that way. I'm going to be making my way towards where those people are over there. I'll head my way towards Edale. It's a bit showery here and there, but I'm not complaining. It's rather nice, to be honest with you. After the very hot, dry weather we've had of late, it's nice to feel some water on your face. Very refreshing. Anyway, this section of the route I've only ever done once before. I would have done it in the reverse direction, and that would have been over 36 years ago. That was when I came to the Peak District for the very first time on my first YHA holiday, and I stayed in a youth hostel along here, which I believe is still there today. So I spent one night in that youth hostel, and then I would have walked along the route that I'm doing now, but obviously in the opposite direction. But I think on that occasion I wouldn't have gone down to Hope Cross. I would have gone along the path that goes down to Lady Bower Reservoir. So yeah, I'm actually really excited about doing this section now. The path began to twist to the right as I dropped into the delightful Jaggers Clough. Although there was some rain, it didn't spoil my enjoyment of the beautiful scenery. This is Jaggers Clough. Lovely. Rolling down from the Great Kinder Scout above. Beautiful. Well, this would be a nice spot to stop for my lunch, because it is at 1:15 now. I am feeling a bit famished, but there's still some rain, so I think I'm going to move on a bit further and get out of the rain. As I carried on up the track, the rain gradually became lighter, where I found a perfect spot for lunch. afterwards, the track climbed out of Jaggers Clough to head southwest. Soon I had great views of the other side of the Great Ridge and into the Vale of Edale. Brightening up again now, it's really nice. Although I can't complain about the rain because we certainly need it after the recent dry hot weather we've had. Oh, lovely. Look at these views into the Vale of Edale. Aren't they fantastic? Anyway, I was going to give a shout out on today's walk to a friend of mine, but I think I'm going to save it until next time now. The reason being is because I think earlier on today, I think I passed another YouTuber without realising it until it was too late. So today's shout out goes to Jennifer Riley. Hi Jennifer. Now, I only came across Jennifer Riley's channel, I think it must be within the last couple of weeks, if that. I was just looking on YouTube and one of her videos came up where she'd filmed a walk up onto Kinder Scout, and I'm sure I passed her just before I got to Hope Cross earlier today. I just finished taking a shot and there was a couple of people that walked from behind me, a man and a woman, and the woman said morning as she walked past me. And then as I started to walk behind them, but they were sort of heading on quite a way ahead of me by that time, I thought, that looks like Jennifer Riley. I'm sure it was. So if that was you, Jennifer, I am so sorry for not saying hello. It's typical, isn't it? Walk past people and then it doesn't actually click who they are until it's too late. Yeah, anyway, if that was you, Jennifer, it was nice to have seen you. So I'll leave a comment on your YouTube channel. So it was great, as Jennifer replied to my comment I left later to confirm it was her I saw. At a fork, I bore right to follow a narrower path signposted to where I was heading next. I was going to talk today about why I've not been filming for nearly 3 months, but after all the other stuff I've been gassing about, I'm not going to get the chance. I'll just have to leave it to another time. Keep you all in suspense. Don't get too excited. Now I do remember this that I'm approaching now. This is the youth hostel that I stayed in for that one night when I did this stretch all those years ago. This is Edale Youth Hostel. Crossing Lady Booth Brook, I arrived at Edale Youth Hostel and Activity Centre, one of the highest residences in the Peak District, and has a view to match. Wow, this brings back some memories. I stayed here at Edale Youth Hostel on my second night during my very first holiday in the Peak District, way back in 1986. I spent the first night in Buxton, which is where I got the train when I left Bristol, where I was living at the time. Got the train to Buxton, spent the first night there, and then next day was my first full day in the Peak District. So I did a walk from Buxton, which eventually took me to here at Edale Youth Hostel. Wow. Wonderful to see it again. It's a beautiful location. I mean, what I remember about Edale Youth Hostel at the time, it was actually one of my least favourite of the youth hostels in the Peak District. Not because there was anything bad about it. When I am talking a long time ago now, so I'm sure it's different now, but like hotels, when you arrive at a hotel, arriving at youth hostels, you have to check in at the desk at the front. And I can remember arriving here, and I waited for an hour to get in. There was a queue outside the door here, and it took an hour to get to the front desk to sign in. I don't know why it took so long, but that wasn't a very good start. And apart from that, it was fine. As I say, you can't fault the location. Yeah. So I spent one night here, met a few people, because I always remember people staying here that were doing the Pennine Way, because of course Edale is where the Pennine Way starts and finishes. Yeah. But I remember the next morning, on the morning that I was going to move on to the next place, got up for breakfast, and normally in youth hostels in those days they would sort of say breakfast between 8 and 9 or something. I can't remember, but usually whenever you got up and went into the sort of the canteen to have your breakfast, you know, you'd be able to go up and then they'd serve you and then you take it back to the table where you were sitting. But here I remember getting up the following morning and I didn't quite know what the crack was here. It wasn't made very clear at the time, but I just went up to the counter in the hall where, you know, where you sat to eat your food, and I just said, I just want a fried breakfast. And then the guy that was stood behind the counter, he just sort of knelt down and pulled a plate that was already under the shelf with the fried breakfast on it. So God knows how long that fried breakfast has been there. So yeah, not the best, but say that was a long time ago. It was probably one of my least favourite hostels in the Peak District in 1986, but what a location, and it's nice to see that it's still here. I mean, it's an ideal location for people wanting to sort of, you know, start the Pennine Way and finish the Pennine Way, but I'm sure it's a great place now. Yeah, might just go and have a look inside if I can. I've just come inside the main entrance here, but yeah, I'll move on. Obviously I'm not stopping here tonight, but it was nice to have a bit of a gander around it again. Yeah, I'm sure the Edale YHA now is great, because, you know, youth hostels have come on in droves since the days I used to be a hosteler. Okay, I better get on now then. Moving on from the youth hostel, my path slowly curved to the right to head west, as I made my way through the beautiful Vale of Edale. This is a really lovely part of the walk. If I was to say that today's walk was ending on a high, that would be an understatement. Beautiful. Yeah. As I say, I've not done this particular section for 36 years. I'm just approaching the village of Edale. I don't come here that often either. You know, but it's you just forget there's so much to see in the Peak District. I eventually took a path crossing a narrow stone bridge over Grinds Brook. At the other side, I arrived in Edale. This lovely village is surrounded by probably the most stunning scenery in the whole of the Peak District. Edale is circled by the towering slopes of Kinder Scout to the north, the Great Ridge to the south, Wyn Hill to the east, and Dale Head to the west. Edale is also known to many as being the start or end point of Britain's most famous long-distance hiking trail, the Pennine Way. The village itself is small but perfectly formed, with lanes of pretty stone cottages, a cafe, local shop, and a large number of campsites. There are also two very popular pubs, the Rambler Inn and this one, the Old Nag's Head. So Edale is where my walk ends. What a lovely place to end my walk. As I said earlier, I've really ended this walk on a high. Well, it's from Edale that I'm going to be getting the train back to Hove to pick up my car again, so just one stop away. I think I've got just over an hour to wait, so whilst I'm waiting, I'm going to go and have a drink of pop in the old Nag's Head. Why not? Although I went inside the old Nag's Head, I decided not to have a drink in the end, as I still wanted to visit one more place before my train, the parish church of the Holy and Undivided Trinity, built in the late 19th century. Beyond the church, I walked down the lane towards the station. It really had been the most fantastic walk today. One of the best I've done in a long time. But then, I say that about nearly all my walks in the wonderful Peak District, don't I?